Uh, yeah. Woke up with a vision, it's Professor Bear's day. Ruling the game, coming hard, paving his way. Thoughtful and smart, yet a wisdom of man. In a world full of shadows, he's breaking the cap. Lighting up knowledge, hear the people cheer. With every step forward, he's shifting the gears. Professor Bear, yeah, he's claiming his state. With the power of wisdom, watch the ground shake. No mountain too high, no challenge too tough. When you roll with the bear, you know it's...
Beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma.
Wrestling Society Network. History, heart, and two paws up, baby. This is a Bear's Thoughts, breaking down the legends, the stories that shaped the squared circle. Professor Bear, old school wrestling, like you ain't never heard it before. Hosted by the man with more knowledge than steel cages got steel. Only on the Wrestling Society Network.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me this evening. I am Professor Bear, and this is a Bear's Thought. And today, our sponsors are Tag Team Toys and Collectibles and Chops Cards and Print on Demands. With Chops, if you use the code BEAR15, you can get 15% off your entire purchase. That's 15% if you just use the code BEAR15. Now, guys, girls, this has been an amazing run of podcasting things today. But I had to take a little pause on the appreciation because I have two special guests with me. Now, your professor, he always loves to tell a great story. And when friends are in need, I try to come through. And a buddy of mine's, I'm not going to name his name because he knows I don't like him, but he asked me, hey, you're a good podcaster. And I said, I'm the best. He said, okay, whatever. I got some friends that really need to put out their stuff and talk about the things they do in wrestling. I'm like, well, you know, I can do that. I am the man for that. So, guys, girls, let me introduce Sean and Big J. How are y'all doing today?
Real good. How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing well. So, the first thing I always ask of my guests is, how did y'all become wrestling fans?
I was about 7-8 years old. I grew up watching wrestling, and that's during the Georgia Championship Wrestling days with Buzz Sawyer, Tommy Ritt, and I was just a child right away.
Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead,
I was
John.
going to say, Big John, how did you become a
I can
wrestling
tell you,
fan?
my first experience was at Cincinnati. I guess it's Cincinnati Gardens in Cincinnati, Ohio, during the Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan era, and growing up, you know, I kind of lost interest for a while because I got more involved in football and everything else. But when Brian Pillman, a mutual friend of Sean and myself, got into professional wrestling, was with the ECW, it was a big impact because one of our local kids made it, and we all decided, you know, Sean had been doing it for a while. Sean got trained by Brian, and Sean trained me. So it was a revolving door.
Wow, that's amazing. What I love is the background as far as Georgia Championship Wrestling, because that's where I actually came up in the wrestling business from living in Knoxville, Tennessee all my life.
Absolutely.
So now, how did y'all get your foot in the business as far as y'all mentioned that you were trained by Brian Pillman and you were trained by Sean.
I was trained by Sean and a gentleman at the HWA, Heartland Wrestling Association in Cincinnati. He was a legend in the early days, Les Thatcher. He was a major player in the Midwest wrestling organization and down south with Cornette and everything else. He initially started training me. Sean got me in the ring a couple of times, taught me some things, and then I had a neck injury that got me into music. But years later, Sean got me back in the ring and taught me a lot of things that I thought I knew already, but I didn't know shit.
So now, there's one thing I have to correct you on. If my fans do not understand who Les Thatcher is, shame on y'all.
Exactly.
I mean, oh my God, I could sit and have a whole different talk about him, but I'm not. So, Sean, with you training, what was your first step in the business?
My first step was Brian Pillman had played for the Bengals, ended up in Canada playing for the Canadian Football League up there. The strength training coach for the Cincinnati Bengals got him to contact Stu Hart, got trained up there, came back was by WCW, and before he started his dates, he had just a little bit of time that he was able to train me right before he started his WCW dates. So in Norwood, Ohio, where John grew up, actually, shout out to Norwood, trained in Brian Pillman's mom's backyard. We had a little small.
I'm doing a podcast of all things right now. I'm doing a podcast right now.
Let me.
Sorry, I'm on location.
No, that's what I was going to say. Big John he's the man. He only gets a few minutes, so he's going to be talking to people. He's the man, and understand and respect his gangster. That's what I wanted to say. Besides that, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it, man. I got to tell you, it's taken me back because in wrestling, you look up to people and you idolize and you try to mentor yourself after somebody. And through Sean's endeavors and a couple of our mutual friends, Kevin Nash inducted me into the NWO. And I thought life couldn't get any better. That when it comes to professional wrestling and being a wrestler, to be honored by someone that you strive to be was the world to me.
That is amazing. Sean, I didn't mean to interrupt you, so go ahead and finish.
I was just touching on the that Brian had pulled out this twin size mattress in backyard. I said, "Where's the ring?" He said, for the training that we're going to do before I start my WCW dates, we're not going to ring. Well, fast forward years later, I didn't understand what all that meant. Stories about Stu Hart's dungeon, and come to find out that Stu Hart trained people in his basement on collegiate wrestling mats. And so the Benoits, the Jerichos, all these guys were all trained, without getting in a ring, months before they would ever even step foot in a ring. First, they would learn the basics. And that was what basically Brian was teaching me was, we're going to learn the basics first. And, I'll leave you with a diet to follow, a routine in the gym to follow, and the basic knowledge. And go on to start his WCW dates. And then I go on to move forward to find the next wrestling school about 3 years later.
That's awesome. So I have to ask this question. When you see his son wrestle, does it bring back fond memories of?
Absolutely. He's a spitting image of his dad, and just tremendous. And I really like what WWE has done with him. I believe he was kind of almost trying to typecast his character the way they were doing in AEW, and everybody was expecting him to be his dad. And these are big shoes to fill for each person that's put in that predicament. But with the character that they've given him now and everything, I think that really gives him a wide open playing field to, even the shot, people being able to see that he can be just as good as his dad and hopefully even better.
Absolutely, 100%. Sean and Cody had a big part in training Bryant Jr. when he started. And I will tell you this, one thing that he always said was he did not want to wrestle in his dad's shadows. He wanted to be his own person, and he has done a hell of a job. I'm so proud of this kid. I love him to death. I haven't seen him much because he travels so much now, as do I now. But sooner or later we'll catch up, and I'll give him a hug and say I'm proud of him.
I got a chance to meet him at a local show in Sevierville, Tennessee, and I don't know what impressed me more, his humbleness or him just seeming to be a down-to-earth person. He was so polite and sweet, and it was.
Who are we talking about? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I got to send a shout out to Linda Pillman, because that's when you see anything that's the structure of the man that he became. Linda Pillman has done so well with the kids, and been an angel. She's a wonderful woman.
Oh, I agree with everything that's going on. That legacy he has made, I can imagine his father is smiling down on him every day, seeing the man he became. So, getting back to you all's journey in wrestling. After the training, what was your first match?
Sean, you go ahead, because mine only lasted through the end of training. So we'll get into that in a minute.
So my first match was up right around by Marion, Ohio, which is where I went to my training school. I lived in Cincinnati, and the closest school was 3.5 hours away. So my first show right around Marion, Ohio, and was with a guy that was from the same class that I was in. So that was, I think, our first handful of shows. And then fortunately, our trainer, Charlie Fulton, had some strong ties with the WWF and the office. And so nowhere near were any of us ready, but we were given the opportunity to wrestle for the WWF 2 months into the business.
Wow. That is amazing. Now, do you think that was a curse or it was a blessing?
I would say a little bit of both. It was a blessing, 1,000%, but almost a curse, because you make a person start believing that maybe things might become a little bit easier than what's expected. And by no way, shape, or form is this business easy. There's 1,001 things that you need to know, and once you learn that, you need to learn 1,001 more.
Absolutely.
I definitely can attest to that. You can do that in just regular life.
Oh yeah, dude. Especially, well, in wrestling, it's a lot like remember the old adage, just when I got to know everything, they changed the whole game.
Yeah.
Every time you think you know everything, there comes this new superstar, this young kid that they're giving a push to. All of a sudden, everything that you know and everything that you live, and Sean will attest to this. With the 5 Monks Wanted, we lived our gimmick. That was us. So everywhere we went, it was, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, And the weird thing is that the hell were we talking about?
as far as his thinking it was a curse or a gift to get.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Because like I said, was every time you think you got all the answers, everything changes. So but the blessing is by the time you end a career, everything that you've been trained comes into effect. It's just like being in the Marines. It's repetitive training. And if you take a break for a while, or if there's a competitor that's getting more of a push than you, or they're doing better, they got more of a crowd, whatever, you use that as motivation. You can do it one of two ways. You can say, "Oh, woe is me," or you can say, "Screw this, we're going to take over and we're going to do it." And I think that's what the best part about it is, because you grow because of that.
That's definitely a good way of looking at it. So from WWE, then what happened with you next, Sean?
Well, that was the beginning of starting to do a lot of different shows, kind of get my feet wet in that, and then eventually worked for the USWA in Memphis, and then went to Smoky Mountain and worked for them, and then up to HWA around 97. Ian Rotten also. I believe that was John's beginning. His start in wrestling was it 97, 98, John?
97 and 98, yeah.
So that was
that was the whole Peel's Palace days and all that shit with all the that's where isn't that where dude got lit on fire?
Yeah. I definitely it's amazing the things that will stick out in your mind that you remember, but when you see a person on fire, it kind of sticks in your mind.
Yeah, that's one of those things that it's like, okay, do I really want to do this? Because my dream, hold on one second. My dream was to go into oh shit, hold on. Still talking. My dream was to go into ECW, and I started seeing some of these hardcore matches, and I'm like, oh, hold on. I don't know that I want to do this.
So, Sean, I'm curious, with you going and doing it and training and stuff, now your brother's right behind you. Did you have the concern that your brother may not be tough enough to handle what you've been through and knowing what he's going to have to go through?
No, he was definitely a good fit for everything, and a love for the business that he had and that. But the different things come into your life at different times, and he had a huge blessing for what's about to happen to him, because his dream of wrestling had just started, and he came, and a dream to become a rock star was dropped into his lap. And from that point, I'll let you tell where it took off from wrestling to rock and roll, John.
Well, I'll tell you, here's how, sorry, it's a little bit loud. Like I said, I'm on location here. The weirdest thing was that happened was while I was training, here, I'm going to go in here. It might be quiet. While I was training, I had a neck injury, and what I did was I took some time off because wrestling scared the shit out of me. And what I did was when I was in the Marines, I would go up to LA, and my ultimate dream was being in the rock and roll business. Well, I pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and I got an invite to a show in Cleveland, Ohio one night in '98, and the drummer from the band wanted to ride back to the hotel. It was the band Rat, and so my friend, we won't mention him, he's dead, drove him back to the hotel, and he said, just ride the bus back. Well, I got on the crew bus instead of the band bus, and I wound up in Detroit. And 3 days later, I got offered a job, and it's telegraphed into, I don't want to sound egotistical, but I will. because I'm a heel. Uh, why? I'm not exiting. I'm standing in here. Oh, okay. All right. I just got yelled at by a young lady.
What you look
I'm
like?
like, I guess I was outside. I guess I was outside the venue. So anyway, I don't want to sound cocky, but it's turned into a hell of a career. Well, I'm a world-renowned security guy in the music business, and I've been known and worked around the world and with some of the highest and greatest entertainers. But it's really turned into a blessing because of all that. I went to a major health scare a few years ago, and basically I had a heart transplant in March 17th of 2023 from all the stress and everything that, happens with life. And my life has completely changed now. That's all I can say. I mean, like I said, is wrestling in the cards in the future? I don't know. You never say never. Sean and I have been talking about a few things, but I have a whole different outlook on life now, and it's amazing. And I got a second chance, and I'm going to die with memories and not waste the
And our journey now isn't necessarily our next match. It's more, we have done so much since it started. We've been blessed with so many different things. I feel like now is our time that we share everything that we've done, because there's so much that I think people would love to hear. Each one of our stories of what we've done individually and what we've done together. Over 5 span where we from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Absolutely. One of the things that I did after this heart transplant was I go out to hospitals now, and I go to medical facilities, and I talk to people who are potentially going to go through this, so they know what to expect, how to deal with it. Because the physical pain is one thing, psychological and emotional is a whole different ballgame. And throughout all of the wrestling, all the music and everything else, you get put on a platform, and there's only one thing to do with that platform. And Sean and I are trying to do it now. And that's pass it on to the next generation and make sure that we leave a legacy and we teach them something.
And I love hearing that, because unfortunately, there are some people who are blessed with fame, and they don't do anything with it. They're very selfish.
Absolutely.
And there are so many people, and I would use myself as an example. I'm not a big known person, but for the people that know me, it's so humbling, and I try to do the best I can to help people, to give people a platform to help live their dreams out. I couldn't wrestle, but I'm getting the opportunity to be in the wrestling business, and I love to help people and to tell stories and to listen to you all stories, because you never know what your stories may do for someone else going through something similar.
Absolutely.
I think there's a term that say that's a lot of good positive energy is if you can leave something a little bit better than you found it when you're done, it brings the whole world and making it a better place.
Amen.
Well, one thing I do is I follow a mantra, and God bless him. Walt Disney was always a hero of mine, and I even have it on my arm now. If you look at it this way, it says believe. You look at it this way, it says dream. And what I try to tell kids, especially from the wrestling and music business, they're like, what makes you happy? How do you do this? And I said, kids, you got to do this. If you believe it, you'll dream it, and dreams do come true. Just got to want them bad enough.
True story.
Definitely. And I think one thing is a lot of times we want to rush what we want, but God has a plan for us, and we have to go down a certain path to understand and appreciate what we're given.
That's the only way to really appreciate it. I didn't appreciate anything until it was gone.
And I think unfortunately, a lot of people have to learn that life lesson. And as much as we try to give back and be to tell kids and be a mentor, sometimes it's not the same as going down that road.
You know, I always said if teachers would ask me, "Are you a reader or are you a watcher?" I never understood what that means. But you can tell somebody and tell them to read something and read it to them over and over and over and over and over again. But until they see it firsthand, they're not going to really comprehend it.
Very much so. So, Sean, tell.
Hey guys, listen, I'm going to go. Oh shit. I'm going to go because this is going to get loud again. And the bathroom is not the place that I should be having my video phone out.
Probably not in today's society.
I might get jealous. I might get jealous. I'll find out why they don't call me Big John.
Man, thank you for coming on. We're definitely
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Listen, I can't thank you enough. It's good to be talking wrestling again. I can tell you two things. We're back. And most importantly, NWO for life, baby. Love you guys. I will talk to you soon. Let's do this again.
Yes, sir.
See ya.
Later.
So, Sean, tell me what you are doing right now. What is what is Sean's dream and what is he doing?
So currently, as I mentioned before, taking something and hopefully making it a little better than, or leaving it a little better than what you found it, kind of plays into my a current project and a business that I'm working on and is actually up and live, and you can see it. I have a online coaching for fitness and nutrition, so strength training, nutrition. I do customized plans, anti-aging consulting. And it's called Fitness Rockstars. So if you go to fitnessrockstars.net, you can check out what I'm offering. And if you're interested in having me coach you, now I'm interested in trying to help you achieve your goals. So that's sort of the direction we're going. The wrestling is, I consider myself semi-retired. So, I take selective dates, or I'm selective with the dates that I take. But, always out, trying to make a difference somewhere. And I don't know if you ever truly retire from the wrestling business. Seems like everybody retires from everything and comes, back 100 times. But I don't know. Like I said, we're at the point now where we have so much to tell. John and myself, we have our own individual stories from a child all the way into an adult and to, where we are today. And then we have our story together. And I really feel like the importance of how it was to the whole Cody Rhodes story, finish telling his dad's story there. I feel like, John and myself, we have our story because what actually brought us together besides wrestling was my father was very ill and he was a Marine, and John was is a Marine. And my father was very particular about letting anyone come around him and be near him. And John was able to help me get him to the hospital. And unfortunately, my dad had at that point been riddled with bone cancer. So it was an unfortunate circumstance that we couldn't get him there sooner, but it brought John and myself together. And one of the last things that my dad said, he was sitting on the edge of his bed and he used his two fingers like this. And he said, "You two look out for each other now." And it was like one Marine talking to another Marine, telling him that as a fellow Marine, and now taking him on as a son. And we call each other brothers because I think my father pretty much decided that for us, that was what was to be. And we were to look out for each other for the rest of our lives now.
That is a heartwarming story. It's one of those, even though it was a tragic time, it was a great time because, like you said, y'all are brothers, y'all watch out for each other, and y'all have a story to tell. And I think that's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
What what is you, and you told me about the personal fitness and your wrestling journey, but what is your what is your mindset today? And with your mindset today, do you think your younger self would be proud of who you are today?
I think my younger self would be confused about who I became because I've become so much more conservative than what I was. And when you're that young age, a lot of times you never think that you will become that mature self. But I'm glad I did. And I'm glad that a lot of the things that I thought was because I came up in a business where people weren't, it was the old school way. So it wasn't today where a person approaches something with the thoughts they might hurt someone's feelings or someone's going to get mad. And I didn't understand that back then, but I'm thankful because I believe it makes a person a lot stronger inside. It kind of gives that probably same mindset that the Marines had given John, my father, and it was something that was given to me through pro wrestling from a lot of guys with that old school mentality. And what I thought was too hard on me when I was younger, I'm thankful for now.
Amen. There is, it seems like not a day that goes by that I thank my mother and father for raising me the way they did, because I wouldn't be sitting here the man I am today, and being able to understand anything that went on in my life. It was my choice. I never blame my mother or father for anywhere I am in life. I'm able to stand up, be a man, and accept.
Mhm.
And I think that's something that is missing in today's youth, not just in wrestling, but in life in general.
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate circumstance with the way society has sort of pacified, or I hate to use the term, but maybe babied a lot of people because everybody's got their feelings hurt now that they go on social media and then they say everybody's being mean to me and all this and that, and um, it makes for a softer person. And I think just as a human being, it lessens the ability that you could create in each person uh, by making somebody have to earn stuff and appreciate things. And it completely changes the mindset for somebody for the better for their life in anything that they're going to do.
Yes, I agree with you 1,000% with that. If I was just getting started in the wrestling business and you were kind enough to give me words of wisdom, what would be some of the things you would tell me?
I would say if you can find a mentor, and not just any mentor, but make sure that this person legitimately has been different places and knows what they're talking about. And if you're fortunate enough that somebody will bring you in and let you mentor them, listen to them, and take every opportunity that you possibly can, do everything they say, and um, make friends with everybody, because you never know who you meet, and you never know in 2 years, 10 years, or 20 years where that person may be. And a friend that you make along the way uh, very, very well could have a spot where you're trying to get in the door somewhere. And this is some place that if your name isn't being thrown out there several times, or you just don't have something that is such a standout, and I'm talking, extreme standout, then you'll just get mixed in the shuffle. So hopefully you have a lot to offer, so you do stand out. But if your name isn't, when they're sitting at the round table and they're deciding who they're going to hire next, and somebody's not putting your name in there, then you're missing out. And so be kind to everybody, because the same people that you see on your way up the ladder, you'll see on the way down. And you just never know. Before we started today, you and I were talking about the term politicking is what they call it. But really, you make friends with everybody, and you meet people that you find out that maybe you have a lot in common with them, and you wind up with a good friend out of it. And then as an added bonus, that person might have the kind of power that you could only dream of, to be able to have somebody that you're on a regular texting and phone call basis with, and take all those opportunities. There's so much to see in the world, and so many places, and so much to learn. Whatever you're doing is still not enough. That's all I can tell you, is keep on doing even more and more, and never get comfortable.
Amen. Amen. I couldn't have said it any better. I think that and again, like you said, we were talking before we went live, and the opportunities for today are so vast, and you could go so many places. And even if you don't get a chance to go places, you can get your name out there. You have the ability to, and I learned this late in life, but the last job interview I ever had, I was sitting in front of the gentleman, and I let him know, I said, I don't want to be in your business. You want to be in the Professor Bear business. I can get a job anywhere, but you can't get an employee that's dedicated like me, that can bring so much to your company. So I'm not selling you. You need to sell me why I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And it took years before I got that confidence and understood what I bring to anything that I put my hands on. And I think that some people may think it as being arrogant and overconfident. I think if you're true to yourself, know that you have something to offer, then that you can say that truthfully without coming off arrogant.
Absolutely. If you're trying to sell yourself to someone, and you don't believe in yourself, and you don't believe that they need you, then why would they think that they need you if you don't even think that they need you? So, yeah, I agree with you. Some people might look at it as an arrogant thing to think, but again, it's how you present yourself. You still have to stay humble, and still stay true to yourself by doing so.
And show them that you just don't talk a good game. Your work shows a great game.
Absolutely. And that's what's going to get you a spot where somebody will give you those opportunities, is to show that you can bring it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And just speaking of a guy who asked me to do him a favor, he decides he wants to say whoop whoop, how everything going, guys. It's going great, because we don't have to talk to you on this pod. I'm playing, I'm playing. Love you, brother. But, and again, as we talk, I know you and your brother have a more long story that you want to get out there, and I definitely want to have y'all back in March, because I can give y'all so much more time, be as detailed as you want, and let people really understand where y'all coming from. And I thank you as much as you all have been thanking me. I thank y'all, because I'm always glad when people can tell a story, but not just a story, but a real meaningful story. Because as I've learned, you never know who you touch, who needs to hear this conversation right now and what you're saying to them, and they understand and believe with what you're saying will help them get themselves to the next level. So
Absolutely.
I again I thank you for willing to do my show.
And next time, we can go down the road. We'll talk in depth about all the matches for the WWF and the Brock Lesnar DVD that my old tag partner Chris Michaels was on, the Eat, Sleep, Conquer, Repeat. Our matches with Randy Orton and John Cena, Batista. The list goes on and on. So we can definitely go down that road, and we have so much more to talk about, and look forward to a list of questions that you may have on that.
So and you said a name. I did not know that you teamed with Chris Michaels.
That was when I first got in the wrestling business. I think I was in maybe about a year, and we started working for a promoter called Dale Mann. He'd already been working for him, but that's where we had first wrestled one another, and then we tagged up together. And then fast forward later, we would start wrestling each other in OVW. I got there first and became the light heavyweight champion for OVW my first night there in the Louisville Gardens. Chris came in not long after that, and we would feud for many months, and then we would become a tag team, and that's where we would have many matches with Brock Lesnar and Shelton Benjamin, John Cena, Enrico Constantino, Randy Orton, Dave Batista, Rob Conway, Nick Densmore. It goes on and on. Mark Henry was down there, Paul White. It's just the elite guys of the last century, the faces of the WWE now, came out of there. And what a phenomenal class that they had, and what an honor it was to have been part of that group.
And I've heard it said so many times that you could argue that was the best wrestling class ever. And it's just so many, like you said, great athletes and whose name are cemented now is just an amazing thing. And yes, definitely, I know my audience would love to hear these stories. So we would definitely get back together and make it happen.
Wonderful. We'll definitely look forward to that.
All right. Guys, girls, thank you so much for joining me with this a special edition of A Bear's Thought. As I always say, make sure you go and support your local wrestling. You never know someone that you see today 4, 5, 6 years later could be the world heavyweight champion in WWE, AEW, New Japan. You just never know. Plus, for me personally, I think you get that, as I like to call, the family reunion feel. You get to have a great time, don't spend a ton of money, and you get to talk to the wrestlers. You get to understand what drives them to do what they do, and you can have your family there and create a moment that could last a lifetime. It is an amazing thing, and I hope y'all continue to support local wrestling. Again, I am Professor Bear. This has been A Bear's Thought, and we will see you around the campfire again soon. Y'all have a great one.
Thank you.